All right, so are you ready to dive into something truly captivating today?
Hmm.
Because we're cracking open the Book of Spells. And let me tell you, you are in for a treat. This book claims to have spells for everything, from astral projection to, like, finding love, attracting money even, and even dealing with those energy vampires, psychic vampires, I think they call them. It's wild. What a mixed bag of mystical tricks, right?
Yeah.
So the book's layout is surprisingly organized. Like, it's like a well-stocked potion cabinet. Each chapter is like a specific spell category. You got astral travel, binding, candle magic,
uh,
all that good stuff. So you can navigate these mystical waters with ease.
mhm.
I appreciate a good structure.
Yeah. Makes it easy to find what you were looking for. One thing I found really interesting was how the book distinguishes between white magic and black magic.
Oh, it's interesting.
It suggests a certain self-awareness, I think, like
Mhm.
a recognition that even in the world of spells and incantations, there are still ethical dimensions
Oh, absolutely.
to consider.
It's like they're saying, hey, even though we're talking about, bending reality here, let's not forget our morals.
Well, exactly.
But enough about the rules, let's get to the fun part, the spells themselves.
Right.
So take astral travel, for instance.
Okay.
The book makes it sound deceptively simple. Like, imagine you're lying there, eyes closed, and boom, suddenly you're hovering above your own body, watching yourself from the ceiling. Wild, right?
Yeah.
And there's even a warning in there, watch what you think, because thoughts manifest instantly on the astral plane.
Mm.
It makes you wonder, like, has anyone actually achieved this? And what does it even look like to be on the astral plane? Is like cosmic dream world or something?
Well, the concept of the astral plane, it's interesting. While it's often associated with like these esoteric traditions, it actually pops up in various cultures throughout history.
Really?
And it really speaks to this human fascination we have with the idea of a realm beyond our physical senses, a place where consciousness can roam free.
Okay, so it's not just about levitating out of your body,
Yeah.
it's a whole other dimension.
Yeah.
This just got way more interesting.
Right.
And then, if that wasn't enough, there's a spell for contacting the dead.
Yeah.
And it's not for the faint of heart. We're talking a full-on ritual here,
Mm-hmm.
complete with a group of people, a specific geometric setup, and even a volunteer who acts as a conduit to the spirit world.
Yeah, the desire to communicate with those who have passed, it's a universal human longing, I think.
Right.
And this ritualistic approach with its emphasis on group energy, this symbolic representation, it reminds me of similar practices that are found across various cultures and spiritual traditions.
Hmm.
It's like tapping into a collective need to connect with that unseen realm.
Yeah, it's both fascinating and a little bit daunting, isn't it? Like, you have to wonder who's actually showing up when you start messing with these kinds of rituals.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the love spells are what really caught my eye in this book.
Yeah.
And trust me, it does not disappoint. There's one spell in particular. It's titled Defeat a Rival in Love. And it reads like something straight out of Shakespeare. We're talking knots tied in hair, herbs tossed into a fire with dramatic flair,
Wow.
and an incantation that sounds like it could summon a thunderstorm.
Well,
It's intense.
it sounds intense. Love magic has a long and fascinating history, often reflecting the anxieties and desires surrounding romantic relationships.
Oh, for sure.
The use of objects symbolizing binding or control, like the knots in this spell, suggests an attempt to influence not just the heart, but also the will of another person.
Yeah.
Which is,
It's getting a little deep there.
it is.
Makes you wonder about the ethics of it all, right? Like,
Right.
where do you draw the line between attracting love and then, like, trying to force someone's feelings?
Right, right.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Speaking of the person who compiled all this magic, the author, George Felfoldi, he seems to be a bit of an expert in all things mystical.
Yeah.
He even wrote another book titled White Magic versus Black Magic. So he's clearly been thinking about these ethical dilemmas for a while.
Yeah, what's fascinating to me is how this book, the Book of Spells, it's like you can see it as a reflection of our deepest desires,
Yeah.
our anxieties. I
Right.
mean, who hasn't wished for a little magical boost in their lives, whether it's finding love, attracting wealth,
Oh, yeah.
or even just like banishing those pesky energy vampires?
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of wealth, let's talk about those money spells.
Okay.
Because this book has a whole treasure chest full of them. We're talking rituals involving silver coins shimmering in moonlit water, chance to attract unexpected income, even spells to, like, make your business flourish like a garden.
It's amazing, the pursuit of prosperity, right? It's a tale as old as time, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
And these spells, with their emphasis on specific elements, colors, actions, they offer a glimpse into the human desire to, like, harness those unseen forces
Totally.
for material gain.
Right. It's like they're trying to create a recipe for financial success, but instead of flour and sugar, they're using bay leaves and cinnamon and a sprinkle of moonbeams.
Exactly, exactly.
And speaking of recipes, there's a whole section on potions,
Oh, interesting.
which is kind of like the DIY section of the magical world, right?
Right.
You got love potions, protection potions, even a potion to help you cope with pain. It's like a mystical medicine cabinet.
It is. It's interesting how these potions often incorporate herbs and natural elements,
Yeah.
highlighting that connection between magic and the healing power of nature.
It's like they understood the power of plants and natural remedies
Yeah.
long before we had, fancy labs and clinical trials.
Right.
They were ahead of their time, I guess.
They were.
After reading about all these spells to, like, summon spirits and attract love, conjure wealth, I have to admit, I'm feeling a little vulnerable.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should talk about those protection spells next.
Yeah.
Just in case I accidentally summon a grumpy goblin while I'm trying to attract my soulmate.
Right, a wise precaution indeed. Luckily, the Book of Spells has got you covered.
Okay, good.
There's a whole arsenal of protection spells in there,
Okay.
ranging from simple chants you can whisper, like a secret mantra, to elaborate rituals involving staffs, glitter, yes, glitter,
Glitter.
and invocations to the guardians of the four directions.
Glitter. Now, that's my kind of protection spell.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, let's banish this negativity with a shower of sparkly joy.
Exactly.
But seriously, it makes sense that protection would be a top priority.
Right.
In a world where you're, like, dabbling with unseen forces. It's like wearing a mystical seatbelt while you're navigating the cosmos of consciousness.
I like that.
And speaking of things that can, like, drain your energy, we can't forget about those psychic vampires.
Right.
They might not have fangs and a thirst for blood, but they can certainly suck the joy out of a room.
Oh, tell me about it. Ah, yes, those energy drainers, the emotional leeches. They exist in the magical realm as well, it seems.
Right.
And the Book of Spells offers a rather intriguing solution, a spell to banish their negativity and reclaim your energy.
Yeah. This spell is all about visualizing a white light surrounding you.
Yeah.
Kind of like pushing away those negative vibes like a mystical force field.
Right.
And you know what? Even if you don't believe in psychic vampires literally,
Right.
just the concept of protecting your energy from draining people, that's something we can all relate to.
Absolutely, we all encounter those individuals or situations
Yeah.
that leave us feeling depleted, exhausted. And this spell, whether you take it literally or metaphorically, speaks to the importance of setting boundaries
Totally.
and prioritizing our own well-being.
It's a good reminder that we have more control over our energy than we might realize.
We do.
But speaking of control, or the lack thereof, did we talk about the reversal spell yet?
Yeah.
It's like the magical equivalent of hitting the undo button. Like,
All right.
say you tried that love spell and it backfired, like, spectacularly.
Yeah.
This is your, like, emergency exit strategy.
I see. A fascinating concept, a way to counteract the unforeseen consequences. Perhaps even like the unintended ripples that magic can create.
Right.
It begs the question, though, what happens when a spell is reversed?
Ooh.
Where does that energy go? Does it just poof, disappear?
Right.
Or does it have unintended consequences of its own?
Okay, now you're getting a little too deep for me. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, the astral plane and psychic vampires, all that. But I do love how this reversal spell adds, like, an element of unpredictability to it. It's like, even in the world of spells and rituals, things don't always go according to plan.
Absolutely. It speaks to that inherent mystery of magic, that understanding that we can never fully control these forces that we're working with.
It's a bit humbling, isn't it?
It is.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the most magical moments happen when we, like, surrender to the unknown.
Yes. Surrender and acceptance. Perhaps those are the greatest spells of all.
Well said, well said. Well, there you have it, folks. Our whirlwind tour through the curious pages of the Book of Spells. We explored astral projection, love rituals, money magic, even psychic vampire protection.
We delved into the history of these practices, examining how they reflect our deepest desires, anxieties, and our eternal fascination with that unseen world.
It's been an enlightening journey, to say the least. So as we close the pages of this enchanting book, dear listener, we leave you with this final thought. If you could cast any spell from the Book of Skulls, regardless of its potential consequences, which one would it be and why? What whispers of longing or curiosity would you unleash into the world? Keep that question simmering in your mind as you go about your day. You never know. A little reflection might just reveal the magic that's already present in your life. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring the wonders, both magical and mundane, that surround us.